Welcome to Smartwatch Ticks, where today we're going to really talk about this No.1 D5 watch from the very beginning. I've got a video up there that I invite you to take a look at before going into this one, because it's going to show you, it's not really a spoiler like in a TV show, but it is, in a sense, going to show you where you might end up after all is said and done with an installation. And in a way, it's good to know the end before you get to the beginning. That particular video actually ends in this area. We go into, and you'll see how to get all of this in that video, to this area where we're going to actually reset the equipment. Now you see up here, there's a little scrollable window that says you're currently logged in with the following accounts. It displays your account number, and then underneath that it has a box that says you can erase all of your data. That's one button. The other button is this one. This is what we did last time. We said to reset the equipment, make sure we have at least 30% of battery charge, which I do on this watch. It warns you it's going to erase all your personal information and downloaded apps, and you can't reverse this. I want to tell you something because you're going to see it right now. Erase everything. That's not really true. What I discovered, and it's good news, bad news. What I discovered, and you're going to see here in a moment, is that this doesn't actually erase everything. It does indeed do a factory restore, as you see it doing right now. And after that's done, your baseline information on, let's call it the left-hand partition of your memory, the main memory where your apps are actually loaded and stuff like that, the operating system runs. That left side of the memory is completely restored. The right side of the memory, which is sort of like the other side of, on a phone, and that would be where you put your SD card, your micro SD card. That kind of memory, on that other side of the partition, the one that's larger, that doesn't actually get wiped out by doing the factory restore. That's an interesting discovery. It means that if you're tired of your watch and you want to sell it, and you go in to do a factory restore, and you think you've cleared everything, you haven't. You got to do the two steps. You got to clear that first one and wipe out all of your stored memory, songs, photos, everything, and then do the second one that you saw me just do. I'm letting this run all the way through so you can see how long it takes to come up to the welcome screen and begin. And here we are. So let's get started. First of all, we select a language. And this is a great place to show you what languages are available on the phone, because in addition to the language in its own native script, it shows you in English below what these languages are. So let's just take a moment to scroll through them, and you can see if your particular language, if you're non-English as a native speaker, is available. Again, all these are pre-installed, and selecting one will, of course, turn the watch over to that language for its displays. Quite a few languages. Now, we're going to break this, I like to call it an intro, in a sense, to setting up your watch into a couple of different sections. There's beginners, and that's who I really want to target this for, those folks that haven't really worked with a smartwatch before. Then there's intermediate folks, which is kind of what I would consider myself. And then there's the advanced ones that know how to root a phone and do all those kind of things. Notice that there's languages above E for English. It just automatically opened on English United States, which is checkmarked, and next. So we're going to actually do back and forth with beginners, intermediates, and maybe even touch on some advanced stuff. It's just easier that way in context. So let's begin. We've set it for English, and it's loading. It's going to give us some guidance, and here's your beginning information. If you slide up from the bottom, you get this little panel that lets you link to your phone, turn on and off Bluetooth, turn on and off Wi-Fi, and gives you your date. It's saying come down. So if I come down from the top, There we go. That actually went back, and you'll find that doing that swipe from the top is used as a back button because you only have one button on the watch. We slide this way, and it goes into some pages of other widgets, and we slide back that way and slide again, and we get into the notifications area when you're tethered to your phone to get your notifications. And slide back that way. A long press will let you change the dial face, and tapping the screen will let you come back and then enter the main menu, which is scrollable in a sense like the Android Wear, but this is not Android Wear, this is pure Android. These are all the apps that are pre-installed, and we have now reset the watch back to the very beginning. Okay? I'm going to step for a second over to the advanced or intermediate level. Those of you that are beginning, you can watch this, but don't get freaked out, okay? This is just, you'll learn more about this as we go along. We're going to scroll down here for a moment to, where did it go? There it is, the File Manager. A File Manager is a little program that lets you look at what's installed on your watch. Now, if this had been brand new, and you guys can do this, follow along, since you just got your watch out of the box, you can go in here and see how much of your memory is used and how much is available. I tapped once on it, and it's showing you the folders that are in that right-hand partition of the memory I was talking about, your kind of storage area, sort of like an SD card, but this does not have the micro SD or what they call TF storage. You cannot insert memory. It's built in. Anyway, this has folders in here. I want to call your attention to one called Clock Skin. In another video later on, you're going to see how you can install your own clock faces. And actually in here, I have a whole bunch of them free that have just appeared in the last week in an amazing forum called the XDA-Developers Forum related to clock faces for the D5, K8, K18, I don't know, K8 Mini. There's a whole bunch of watches that do what this watch does, and this is how they're making clock faces. And they're dropped into this Clock Skin folder. How hard is that? Not hard at all. In your charging port on the side, you plug the wire directly into your computer. I use a Mac, could work on a Windows machine. It's going to ask you, see, it keeps wanting to time out on me. If you want to go into USB storage mode, you say yes, and it mounts just like a regular external card or thumb drive directly onto your computer, and you can drag and drop stuff into these different folders, like this one. When I do a video on keyboards, you're going to find that this keyboard is probably the best, and it's done by putting in these special files that one of our Russian contributors to the XDA Developers Forum has completely remapped a rectangular keyboard to work on this round watch format. And it really works as long as these files are in there. I'm going to do that. That makes me go back one level. Do it again. That goes back one level, and we're now in File Manager. So we looked at the watch faces, and we've got the keyboards, and oh, I already passed it. The other one that was really important I wanted to show you is App Backup and Restore. Now, when you watch the other video on factory restoring that I mentioned, you'll get a real detailed overview of how this works, and inside here, I have backed up all sorts of APKs, they're called. They're the programs that actually load up and run your apps. They're not in running mode, they're in storage mode, just as if you downloaded them from the Google Play Store. And this root has not been watched. This watch has not been rooted. It has not been modified. I'm doing everything kind of factory, basic stuff. We're not going to get into really heavy esoteric stuff because I'm only an intermediate guy. I'm not advanced. There are certain ones that I do not want updated, and if the watch happens to update them through the Google Play Store, I can go back in here and reinstall these particular ones back to the default level, which was before they've been updated. There's different reasons for each one of those, but anyway, I've got those there too. So you can see that all of the standard file structure that is part of the watch environment is still here in the storage on the right-hand side. That's that bottom one here, the blue one. And, well, actually, it's this whole thing, but I've used up that much of it, and I still have that much of it available. And that's for watch faces and keyboards and all of my backup apps. All right, I'm going to take a break, and I'll be right back. We'll go to the next level. There's other ways of getting back, like swiping, which takes you level by level back, okay? Or you could have just pushed the button on the side, and it takes you right back to your watch screen.